be applied to the hand. And that's what we're going to be going over. Now, before I just jump into this, though, there is one thing I wanted to talk about. There was one artist that I talked to. I mean, there were many, many artists that I talked to over the weekend, like to a length, I would say. But there was one in specific that really kind of caught me off guard, and like literally as I was talking to them, it stopped my train of thought. I was kind of shocked by what they said, and they were talking about how their goals and how they work as an artist. And as I was telling them how I work through things and how I kind of plan my schedule and how I try to work every day on something. They were just kind of defeated and got to the point where they said, "Well, that's you. I could never be like that. That's not something I could be." And it kind of threw me off guard because I thought like when in your life did you decide for yourself that you can't? When did you decide that you are not worthy of success or becoming an artist that receives success, and you're limiting yourself? You're putting your own ceiling on how far you can grow, and it really it kind of shook me, because then I talked with this artist for like a good half hour after, just kind of explaining that you can't have that mentality. If you want to be successful as an artist, you cannot doubt yourself to that extent. It's truly damaging. So anyone on the stream, I want you guys to know kind of the same thing. Don't ever assume that you can't. Or if you look at an artist, or you're talking to an artist that maybe is more successful currently, and you just think, "Oh, I can't be that." That's them. That's their mentality. They're a harder worker than I am. They're a better artist than I am. As soon as you start to say these things, you start to believe it in your head, and you can't let those kind of seep into your brain, because then it does start to infect the way you think. So instead, I want you to start thinking, "I will be that," or "I'm going to work towards that," or things that are more positive, more encouraging. Because I was telling them how, I mean, 4 years ago, I started doing conventions and my booth looked horrible. I thought my products were just iffy, and my prints, I mean, they looked pretty bad. I didn't have much to sell. And I knew that I wasn't going to be one of the best looking booths or one of the best artists there, but I had to start trying, and you have to start somewhere. And like for me, that was my starting point. And in my head, I knew that that was not the end goal. My end goal, even now, would still say my end goal is further along, but I'm going to be on that path continually. And yeah, I'm going to make mistakes, and I fail constantly. I've kind of learned to embrace failing. I think failing is essential for artists. And if you're one of those artists that are kind of afraid of starting, or feeling like you have to build up something first and then put yourself out there, you can't have that mentality. You got to jump right into it. Start doing it today. I can't explain enough how important it is that you don't put things off or say, "Well, eventually I'll do it." Like that eventually will always be tomorrow, if you know what I mean. So just something that I wanted to share with you guys before we start the stream, because that it really did affect me hearing this artist talk about themselves in such a negative way, and I thought it was just so unwarranted that it almost like it made me like a passionate. It made me want to like share my passion with them so that they can realize that they are a good artist. Because what they showed me, they were showing me their stuff on their phone. They're actually like pretty good, but the way they talked about themselves was just so demeaning, and it was awful. So I don't ever want to hear any of you guys talk about your art that way on the stream, or just in general. One